Hi, Ed Mackoul here. Today I'm with John Rusk of ProSentry. John, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ed. Great to be here.
John, give us your elevator introduction on what ProSentry does.
So we're a building monitoring platform for multi-tenant buildings, and we monitor all of their critical issues. And the real important thing is that as soon as there's a water leak or a gas leak or anything that could damage the building, our purpose is to get the building to act as soon as possible. So we have a live operator call to the front desk to make sure they know there's a leak at the dishwasher in 21J.
Okay. Now I have a sensor monitoring system in my own home. So how does what you do compare to the single home systems that people are using?
Single family home systems are great, in part because it's possible to have a valve there. So if there starts to be a leak, the system can shut down water to the single family home. In multi-tenant, it's a whole different story. It's impossible, realistically, to turn off valves for multi-tenant because there's so many different risers going through so many different apartments,
Right.
and there could be 30 valves downstairs. So what we've designed is a system that's much more reliable than your Wi-Fi based system, and it's on a system called LoRaWAN. So it's very consistent. It doesn't go down, doesn't need to be rebooted ever. And it's also, it can't carry data or video, so there's no privacy concerns. The other thing about the system is that it's really customizable for the building owner so that they can control who gets notifications and when they get notifications. So for instance, our mouse traps, we're not going to call the super for. But if there's a natural gas leak, the super's probably going to get called for that.
Okay, great. So let's just take a step back. So you're doing different types of monitoring, water, gas, temperature changes. So let's just focus on the leaking portion for now. So where are
Sure.
how many sensors are typically installed and where are they?
So part of what we're trying to do as a company is to catch as many leaks as we possibly can. So we've really driven down the price per sensor so that buildings are comfortable to just put them wherever there might be leaks. So we'll put a sensor that might be as attractive and small as this underneath dishwashers, underneath washing machines, underneath sinks. We'll put sensors like this or like this behind toilets. And then especially if the building has fan coil units that oftentimes leak air conditioning equipment, we put ropes around those things. So we try to look to an apartment and have sensors wherever there might be leaks because we don't know when they're going to come next.
Understood. Tell me a little bit about the gas monitoring or the gas leaks.
So it's a big deal in New York City because in 2016, after a couple of big explosions in 2014 and 15 where people lost lives, City Council passed a local law 157 that said everybody has to have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. And when there's a national standard for natural gas detection, the DOT has to write a rule, Department of Buildings, that every apartment in New York City has to have a natural gas detector. Everybody forgot about it because there was no national standard, but the National Fire Prevention Association just published that standard last April. The Department of Buildings for New York City is now writing a rule, and basically it's going to require a gas sensor that looks like this. It'll have to be within a foot of the ceiling, 10 feet right to left of every gas appliance, and it has to alert at 10% of what it would take to explode. That's called lowest explosion limit.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I get a lot of claims that are filed all the time with people saying, I got a gas leak. We've had to shut off the gas. Con Ed or whoever else is coming in, and they think it's an insurance claim, which it isn't. Now, will this prevent those steps from happening where they have to turn off the gas and all that?
So it's such a good question. The problem is for the fire department is that when they get a call that there's a gas leak in a building, they may not know exactly where it is. And even if this device gets installed but isn't connected to a system, the fire department may get a call from a neighbor. They don't know where the gas is. They come to the call. They have to wander through the building with the gas sensor, walking slowly to try to find out where the gas is building up. It's a nasty game of Russian roulette because while they're trying to find it, the gas is building up, but could potentially be to an explosive level. With our system, this device would alert at 10% of what it would take to explode. We'd let the super know right away. Within 15 seconds, they'd have a text. In 30 seconds, a live operator call. That lets them know it's in apartment 21J at the stove, and it's at 10% of what it would take to explode. He runs upstairs, throws open the window, turns off the stove, he's fine. But even if the super doesn't get the call, and we have to call 911, and that's after a minute and a half to give us that much grace time, we're telling the fire department it's at 21J, it's at the stove. So when they arrive, we've also updated them to know maybe now it's at 20% of what it would take to explode. So they don't have to wander through the halls and risk their lives. They know where it is. They can run upstairs, open the door, turn off the stove, open the window, and go home without having to turn off the gas for the building.
Very good. Very good. That is certainly helpful. And lastly, can you tell us a bit about the temperature changes? We've had certainly claims in some properties where people go away, don't put on their heat, and all of a sudden there's a tremendous pipe burst and resulting in a large claim. So that's what you do, stop that?
I've been in business for 37 years as a construction company and multi-tenant in New York City. So I have a lot of friends who are supers. And over these past Christmas holidays, a lot of those supers weren't home with their families because there was that cold snap. And it had been warm in December. So people went down to Florida, left their window open, radiators off, and froze pipes. All of our water leak detectors all also monitor for temperature. And we would set a low parameter, so say 50 degrees. As soon as that sensor goes below 50, we would notify the building and say, hey, apartment 32F is at 50 degrees. Nobody wants to live that way. That would let them go upstairs, close the window, turn on the radiator. Never a frozen pipe, never a water leak. We saved the whole thing before there was any trouble.
Wow. I would think insurance companies would love to see the buildings moving forward with this.
Insurance companies are incredibly happy with our solution. In fact, we've been building a solution for the last 3.5 years. Chubb Insurance has been one of the companies that we've been working with throughout that, but now we've got excellent relationships with Pure, AIG, and a lot of the others. The reason is that our system is monitored. So our sensors check in every 6 hours to say, I'm still here, the temperature is this, the humidity is this. So that way, everybody really knows that even though these batteries last 10 years, they know that they're on duty and watching for water leaks. And as soon as there's a potential leak, the building knows right away. So it's not going through an app or a piece of technology. We're sending a text and then a live operator call, and it's really quick.
Are you able to give us a quick demonstration?
I'd love to. So here's a water sensor. From this water sensor, it's going to send a radio signal to this LoRaWAN gateway, which is then going to go to my cloud platform. It's going to turn this light. It's going to come back to my cloud platform, to the gateway, turn this light red, and then turn off this fan as if it was a valve, because we can control valves as well. And then within about 15 seconds, I'm going to get a text. And right now, I don't have any texts. So here we go. Into the water, my sensor went. It goes up to the cloud, back, my light turned red, my fan turned off. And right now, I don't have any texts. Right, oh, but I just got the text. And I click on that text, and it says, urgent leak condition, sensor master bathroom toilet, reported a leak at the ProSentry office. And it even has highlighted in blue the phone numbers for the people, the numbers for the people that they'd have to call, so that in an emergency, you don't have to remember my password or even the name of the service. You get a text, you know who to call. And then if that's too high tech, within another 30 seconds or 15 seconds, there's a live operator call.
John, this is great. I can't imagine that there aren't every single building would need at least part, if not all of your services. So thank you for your time. Any questions, John's contact info will appear on the screen. Thank you, John, for joining us.
Thanks so much, Ed. Great to see you
now.